Nerds are super underrated.
That's my point. That's what I keep telling people.
Well, welcome to Fearless Chats, where people bravely challenge their outdated instinctive fears around rejection, failure, and social norms with never before seen random questions and a whole lot of uncomfortable eye contact. Today, my guest is technologist, columnist, public radio commentator, Yanov. Phil is an entrepreneur, a natural connector. He's made a career of helping others understand how they can best build and leverage their own personal networks, which makes me extra grateful that he is a part of mine. He's the founder of Tech After 5 and the GSA Technology Council, and has been named among Greenville, South Carolina's 50 most influential people. Phil, I am so grateful that you took the time to jump on a fearless chat with me today.
Oh, well, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate you doing this. I think it's important. It's an important time to be doing this. So I appreciate you being courageous and generous yourself.
Oh, thank you for that. So our goal here is really to start separating out those fears that might actually kill us from those fears that are leftover reminders of voices that really aren't threatening anymore, like eye contact, connection with other people, that people remain scared of for no particular reason. So we have 3 questions, sort of random. I'm gonna just start right in on the first one. There's no follow-up, so whatever you say, you say. You can continue for as long as you want. We can cut it at any point, but here it goes. If you had control of all of the biological forces on Earth, what's one thing that you would change?
Wow, that's a big
Hey,
question. I
I
mean,
know.
I think planet Earth has been optimizing this experiment for a long time. We've been at this for billions of years. But, if I could change anything about the world, what would I do? I'm not sure I'm such a good steward of those things. Those are the things I worry about. When we talk about the big forces of the earth, I just think, I don't know if I'm any smarter than what the world has figured out on its own. But maybe if we could figure out some way to make the earth be a little more forgiving of us being so stupid as its inhabitants, that would be kind of cool, right? I mean, we treat the thing as though it were infinite and that we can just throw our trash wherever. I mean, it should like somehow magically get rid of our trash. And I think that would be kind of a nice thing to have, right? Self-cleaning planet that, my oven can do that. Why can't, and I get it. I know that it is doing it. It just has to work faster because we're really good at generating trash.
I love that answer. That's
Yeah.
great. Perfect. All right. What 2 items, not people, would you grab if your house was on fire?
Hmm. You know, I've never had this problem, but what do I take a flashlight and a penknife. I mean, I think I can make everything else, right? If I had to start over, I could start over. I mean, so imagine that all the, you said not people. So what's the stuff that I need? I don't think I need a lot of stuff, Rebecca. I think I'd be okay. I'd probably, as a convenience, take my phone because it's connected to everybody. That's a thing that's pretty useful. But honest to goodness, we just had tornadoes come through the neighborhood just a couple of weeks ago. And as the warnings were getting ready to go off, I looked at the kids and said, "Do you have a flashlight?" And that was only because it was dark, right? And I was worried about them not being able to find their way around. So I think I would take I'll probably take my phone because it just keeps me connected to everything, and a flashlight.
All right. Third and final question. If you could adopt a trait from any other person, what would it be and why?
Oh, I think I have lived. I've done what I've done, and it's been pretty good. But I would be if I were even more courageous, that would probably be really a great thing to have. So I think courage is just a thing. So that in the moment, not being afraid to do a thing is useful. And I like that idea a lot. If I could steal another one, or the other one might be persistence, right? That's a thing that I always admire in my sister. I have a sister who's 11 months younger than me, and she will just plow through even the worst of times. And she has just got a level of persistence I rarely see in myself.
And now comes the big challenge for most people. I'm grabbing my phone. I'm setting in the 2-minute timer. And all we have to do is look at each other. So
For
there's
two
no,
minutes.
huh?
For 2
2
minutes.
minutes. It's
What
what
could
could
go wrong?
possibly go wrong? So all I want you to do is be open to it, experience whatever you experience, and I'll just ask you what your experience was like at the end of the 2 minutes. That's the only
Okay.
rule. Ready?
There's the only rule. That's it. Nothing else.
Nothing
I can
else.
say whatever I want to
Oh,
say.
no, no, no. You're not allowed to
Oh,
speak. I'm sorry. I neglected to say that. Yeah, there's no speaking and there's direct eye contact.
okay.
Cool?
Yep.
2 minutes on the
I'm in.
clock,
I
and it
got it.
begins right now. We did it.
That was not hard.
That was not hard. All right. Tell me what you experienced.
I think that and I'll paraphrase because I remember exactly. There's a quote that says something along the lines of the trouble with most of the world is that most people can't sit alone by themselves. And I think to me, this strikes me as just a meditation. Now, you and I don't know you very well. We've had casual and professional contact before, but I don't know you very well. But I mean, never at any time was afraid that you were going to kill me and eat me. And, but I think this is a thing. I think this is a really cool experiment, quite frankly.
Thank you.
Is to just sit down and take a moment, relax yourself if you can. I mean, but I don't have any trouble meditating. So I didn't have any trouble meditating. And I felt like this is like a meditation where you were the object of my meditation.
Hmm.
And that's okay. That was okay.
That's fascinating. So anything that came to mind, any moments that you were struggling at all, you just were clear and comfortable the whole time?
I was clear and comfortable the whole time. Yeah, I did not struggle with this at all. But again, I practiced sitting by myself. I'm okay.
You are such like a calm, cool, collected person. I find for me, I sweat every time I do it. And it's I can be as comfortable with the person as my own
I watched
mother.
you. So I watched you change your breathing while we were doing this together, and I was like, "Yeah," and you did that little thing. I said, "Oh, I don't know what's going on there, but something just there was a pattern shift for you
Yep.
in and of that moment."
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there thinking, uh, so I will tell you a thing.
Yeah.
You asked me about doing this, and I wasn't sure about the idea or why it mattered. So I did a little research. I did a couple things. So then I took my 14-year-old daughter and sat her down,
Mm.
and I did this with my 14-year-old daughter. And, of course, she's like, "What's my crazy dad up to?" But I said, "Well, let's just do this thing. Let's just try this and see what happens." Right. And we did it for just 2 minutes. So I just did this thing for 2 minutes. And then when we were done, I said, "Well, how did that mean to you?" And she, as a 14-year-old, kind of did her thing, sort of rambling in and out of some things. So I said, she said, "Well, she said, what was on your mind?" She had the presence of mind to ask me, what was I thinking?
Mm.
And I said, "Well, you're my daughter." And I said, "I was thinking that is a face that I've known your entire life and that I love you and that I never spent any time just looking you in the eye." I mean, it is a thing, our lives are busy and we're running off and doing stuff. And it's just this ramble. We're monkey mind all the time, right?
For sure.
Just constantly stuff going through our head. I said, and we never really sit down to kind of appreciate just for a moment, even if it was just 2 minutes and say, I don't know, I would like to figure out how you could make this an exercise with the people who are closest
That's
to say, just to spend a couple minutes doing this with the people that matter the most to you. Just look them in the eye.
that's exactly it. And that's part of this challenge is for me to talk with, interesting people, but then to put the questions out there and say, okay, if you've watched this, go have your fearless chat of your own. Take these questions, take this 2 minutes of time to just, be silly, interact, have a little chat. It gives you a reason to have this conversation. And then look at each other. Like,
Yeah.
get into the other person's space for a minute. Because
Right.
I mean, you said it perfectly. There's nothing that I can say that is more than what you've already said. But we're living in this busy, 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 busy. We only value productivity and pushing out. And sometimes it's really important to reconnect to the humans that are actually inside those monkey minds. And I think this is
Yeah.
a special way to do it. Absolutely. Well, look, congratulations, Phil. You've made it through a fearless chat. And any stress or discomfort that you might have experienced, you didn't. And frankly, you didn't die. Turns out, not a tiger.
Yeah.
which is pretty good to know. So I think you've
Yeah.
easily mastered the art of separating out those fears in your brain, and none of us get there alone. And so, do you have anyone that has inspired your journey, or that you know that's particularly fearless that we should have a conversation with next?
My mother is one of those people, right? Now, she's probably not a good person for you to have contact
Right.
with because she doesn't even have internet, right? She'd probably say no. That might be I'd be wrong about the fear part of this, right? But when you ask me about people that I thought of, it's like, well, my mother is a person that is, who has been super strong in some really difficult challenges, some really amazing scrapes. She's been through some tough stuff, and I just think that's kind of cool. I mean, she is, of course, as we talk, we're approaching Mother's Day, but it's a thing to think about. Another reason to think about, what was the advice my mother gave me? She just lived fearlessly, right? And I think that's pretty powerful stuff.
Absolutely.
Very powerful.
That's a beautiful tribute. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you being on. Is there anything else that you want to tell my audience, your audience, about who you are, what you do, where people can contact you to find out more information?
Oh, I mean, if anybody wants more Phil in their life, and I just can't understand why that would be, I'm easily found at philyanov.com. So you can stick that wherever you want to stick it. But thank you for that opportunity. But I think this is important work, Rebecca. I think that you've taken on some interesting challenges, and I hope that the people that need you can find you.
Thank you for that. That is I'm really honored by that, and thank you for all that you've done with this community, in this community, to make it what it is. I'm so grateful to be a part of Greenville and a part of what you've helped build here. So thank you for that.
Thank you for including me.
Absolutely. So while you are waiting for next week's questions and guests, you might just go have a fearless chat of your own. Who inspires you to be fearless? It's your turn to have a fearless chat. Instructions and new questions are posted each week on my blog and, of course, all the social streams. So be sure to like, follow, and share your own chats using the hashtag #FearlessChat. Let's all make room for more growth, more fun, more connection by becoming fearless. Oh, and let me know who you'd like to see as the next guest. I'm always open to suggestions and ideas. We'll see you around. Keep being fearless.